Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hello and welcome to Happy Eyes Pod, your number one African eye care podcast where we explore the world of eye care one blink at a time. I'm your host Dr. Amal, optometrist by profession, educator by passion, and your guide on this journey to clearer vision and smarter eye care. Welcome back to another episode of your number one African eye care podcast. I'm your host Dr. Amal. Grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects basically every one of us, from babies to toddlers and even adults. Today's episode is titled Forks, Flavors and Focus, a recipe for healthy eyes. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking food and eyes, because what you put on your plate doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your eyes too. So whether you're a foodie, a picky eater, or just someone trying to stay healthy, this episode is for you. Now, here is a fun fact. Your eyes are one of the most energy-hungry parts of your body, and the retina, which is the part of the eye where images are formed, acts like a film in a camera, if you know what a camera is, and it uses more oxygen and nutrients per ounce than any other tissue in the body. So what does that mean? It means our eyes need fuel, and not just any fuel, it needs premium grade vision boosting nutrients. Now let's break it down like a recipe. Joining me today is someone who knows this inside out, Mr. Alhassan Lawal. He's a microbiologist, a public health practitioner, and a passionate advocate for public health nutrition. Trust me, you're going to love his insights. Now let's hear from our guest, who he is, what he does, and why he's passionate about food and sight.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Alhassan Lawal Alhassan, and I'm technically a public health specialist or teacher that has studied nutrition and microbiology along the way. And as everybody knows, that nutrition is one of the pillars in which a healthy lifestyle is supported. And so, in public health, it is very important for us to deal with nutrition, emphasize on good nutrition, and the eyes are one of the, or rather not one, they are the most important organs as far as I'm concerned, because without them,
Exactly.
you can't take care of any other organ comprehensively. So that is why I always have an interest in studying nutrition, both eyes and general overall.
Okay. Welcome on the show. Apart from public health and nutrition, what are three other areas you're passionate about? What things or activities make you happy? We can take
Well, apart from public health, I enjoy anything automobile, from the engineering aspect to the driving and so on. I enjoy a good book, and what else do I enjoy? I'm a very simple human being. I enjoy watching all sorts of documentaries too.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Okay, now let's start with the basics. Can you explain how food affects our eyes?
Well, that is a very good question. As far as nutrition is concerned, not just eyes generally, but there's always the good aspect and there's always the negative aspect. The positive aspect has to deal with, it's specific to the eyes, general eye health, which will include having good vision, which is the main thing. Then prevention of cases such as dry eyes, macular degeneration, and so on. All these are benefits you can derive from food.
Food.
And the negative one, either directly or indirectly, bad diet can lead to certain conditions that can lead to problems in vision, such as diabetes, which we all know along the way can destroy the retina, right?
Yes.
And so
Diabetic
hypertension and so
retinopathy.
on like that. Exactly, or hypertension too, that can lead to problems with vision. So there are two sides of nutrition always. Good ones and a bad one. I mean, the good side and the bad side. The good side is the benefits we derive from food, and then the bad ones where excessive habits or bad nutrition can lead to certain conditions that can cause problems.
Okay. I also think that eye health is often overlooked, literally and figuratively. Most people think of food for energy or for healthy skin and hair, but what people don't know is that eyes are very demanding when it comes to nutrients. And this is where food becomes our first line of defense, not just in protecting our vision per se, but in preventing conditions, as you said, like dry eye, macular degeneration, and even cataracts sometimes. So I want you to tell us what superstar nutrients our eyes absolutely love and where can we find them? Okay, let's make it very practical. If someone
Uh,
opened up their fridge today and wanted to eat for better vision, what are the top 5 nutrients you think they should look for?
well, in the refrigerator, well, as we all know,
Okay,
the
in their
most
pantry.
important.
It mustn't be in the refrigerator. Let's say in their kitchen or in their pantry or in their refrigerator or wherever they store their foods.
I understand. Well, the most important, I'm sure people will. It has always almost become a cliche. Vitamin A, vitamin A, vitamin E, good for vision. You hear it everywhere.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
go and, to the point that I think people have taken it a bit lightly. But vitamin A is, well, it's the most important as far as vision is concerned. So uh, practically, if I open my refrigerator, I would love to see something that contains vitamin E. You know,
Which
either
is
of certain greens such as ugu, carrots, which are the most
popular
abundant.
ones. Yes.
Yes, we have red palm oil too, I think. Sweet potatoes, pumpkins, all those orange uh, sources of vitamin E.
Okay.
Egusi. These are things that uh, are everywhere around us and are easy to get. And then something like vitamin C, something that contains vitamin C too,
Mm.
uh, like oranges. So fruits now and vegetables are coming into the picture, which are always the go-to sources of good nutrition. So fruits such as oranges, tangerines, even green peppers, all these bell peppers
Yes.
that we have. And then maybe something with omega-3 fatty acids, which are also very important, such as fresh fish, um, or even the locally dried fish that we have around.
Mm.
Maybe these pumpkin seeds. I mean, no, it's not a delicacy here in our area, but around the world,
They
pumpkin
get
seeds are
thrown
very,
away.
yeah, exactly. But those are very nutritious, highly loaded with omega-3. So, something like a yam porridge can be made with all these ingredients,
Carrots.
something like exactly okra soup and so on. So these are certain things that are very easy to get and, very rich in the essential vitamins for the eyes.
Okay, so we've taken vitamin A, vitamin C, omega 3. We have two to go. Two superstar nutrients.
Uh, Vitamin E too.
Okay.
Uh,
Found in.
Vitamin E, well, I think in groundnuts,
Okay.
peanuts that are readily available. Also in the palm oil I was talking about, we also find vitamin E.
Okay.
Something like soybeans with the awara that is everywhere now.
Yes. So
Avocado for people who can stand it, who have, who have access to it. Egusi, and so those are all good sources of vitamin E. And then we have to talk about leafy greens such as water leaf, bitter leaf, ugu, and so on. This is not for vitamin. I'm talking about now lutein and zeaxanthin.
Okay.
This another group of nutrients are very important. So leafy greens, maybe boiled corn or even roasted corn in general, and then in the yolks of egg. So the general picture here is vegetables and fruits are very
Fruits.
important.
Yes, yes. Okay, now
Uh,
let's flip it. What foods hurt our eyes or increase the risk of vision problems?
foods that increase, well, processed foods. So it's just like I said initially, the negative side of
And
nutrition. So
positive, yes.
all those sugar-laden foods and highly processed foods uh, that people usually stock up, sodas, uh,
Canned foods,
foods that are high in salt content, sodium content,
yes.
the foods that can lead to any condition that can cause problems to the eye, either directly or indirectly. Even alcoholic beverages too. Those two, what alcohol usually does is it depletes the nutrients of the body, which leaves the body vulnerable to uh, deficiencies. So,
Diseases, yeah.
exactly. So any food that is considered highly processed, high in sugar, sodium, any food, these are all foods that are all over the place. I think can do with throwing away technically.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about carrots, pumpkins, and sweet potatoes. How do these colorful foods work their
The
magic on our
superheroes,
eyes?
these are superheroes when it comes to
Exactly.
eye health, because this is where we talk about, I think, beta carotene. Beta carotene is a carotenoid, and it is what gives those foods orange color. I
Okay.
think carrots and pumpkins and sweet potatoes are
Yes,
all orange,
are all
apart from the
orange.
white one we have here, but
Yes.
the normal sweet potato is orange. So, what vitamin, I mean, they all contain beta carotene. And what beta carotene does is it gets converted into vitamin E inside the body, without getting too technical. And
So
vitamin
we
E is
don't
very
lose our
important.
listeners along the way.
Exactly. So what is the basic? The basic gist is it gets converted into vitamin E. You see vitamin E coming back into the picture again. Uh, Vitamin E is crucial for night vision. So all those people driving around, I can see, might, this is a good idea,
Okay.
vitamin E. And then even the health of the cornea. That is, I mean, if I'm not the optometrist, but the outer layer of the eye, right? If I can call it that. And it also encourages moisture retention in the eye. So it prevents dry eyes.
Dry eye along the way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is crucial.
So, and again, they act like, if I might say, sunglasses for your eyes. That is those
Okay.
three foods we're talking about. The beta carotene inside is a
Yes.
good antioxidant. So all those free radicals in the body, excuse me,
So it's just
I don't
like
want to get too
wearing a
technical.
sunscreen or sun shades
Exactly,
for
I
your
was
eyes.
saying shit. Yes. So that what that does is you know it protects against all those age-related diseases. Uh, I think the only one I know is macular degeneration, I think, and maybe cataract. If that might be age-related, I don't know. I'm not very sure.
Yes,
But
it could be.
uh, so those superfoods or superheroes that we're talking about, this is, I think, the basic gist about them. They support overall eye structure. They contain other nutrients such as I think potassium, a lot of fiber, vitamin C, and so on. So it's like I said, they are superheroes when it comes to the eye.
Okay. So let's shift gears for a moment. Many of our listeners are women in their childbearing years. Can you tell us how a pregnant or postpartum mom should eat to support her eye health and her baby's vision development?
Yeah, this is another part of something that interests me, maternal and child health. And when it comes to maternal and child health, nutrition is of the utmost importance, not just for eye health generally, but when being specific to the eye, what happens is during pregnancy or even postpartum, there's a lot of hormonal changes in the body of the woman. And these hormonal changes can affect vision, even though it's temporary usually, but they might cause dry eyes, blurry vision, and so on. And there's also an increased nutrient demand to support mother and
The
baby
growing
because
baby, yes.
this is exactly so. And this baby will develop eyes, of course, and those eyes will need those nutrients just like the mother's eyes do. Also, mothers that breastfeed too, they pass essential eye nutrients to their babies through the breast milk. So eye health is very important, and nutrition comes in uh, at every stage, even pre-conception. Not even
In
during pregnancy or
pregnancy,
postpartum.
so
Exactly.
before
Even when you get
pregnancy, yeah.
it's, all those vitamins we've been talking about, vitamin E, omega-3, fatty acids, vitamin C and E, lutein and zeaxanthin. All those nutrients should be, considered, and even to the point of supplementation when there's any deficiency.
Okay. I know some of these, um, what do you call them? Pregnancy supplements have extra omega-3 tablets
Especially
or
omega-3.
capsules in them to support brain and eye development. So
Exactly.
you're telling us we can even get it
Especially.
in our regular nuts, seeds, and fish, which is
Exactly,
amazing.
especially fish, sardines, mackerels, and some of the nuts. I don't know if we have walnuts here. We have, but I'm sure they're very expensive. So for those who can afford them, walnuts too are a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. But the easiest sources are the sardines, the mackerels, all those uh, fish that are easy to get.
Okay, so basically,
So
mommies shouldn't forget about their own eyes while they're nourishing their baby's eyes.
yeah, of course, because if they do,
Amazing.
then it means they are forgetting about the baby's eyes too, because
In
they share the
essence.
same nutritional requirements. So if you don't take care of your own eyes, you are not taking care of the baby's eyes. You know?
Okay, that takes us to the next question, which is about food support for specific eye conditions, starting with dry eyes, which is a very common complaint we see in the clinic. What can we eat
Uh,
to support dry eyes or to curb dry eyes
uh,
rather?
so dry eyes, I think they occur when your eyes don't make enough tears, right? Or
Yes,
when the quality of the tears is poor.
compromised.
So, exactly. So just like we talked about before, vitamin E, because it keeps the surface of the cornea, just like I said, it protects the cornea, right? So smoothness and moisture are very important. That will prevent dry eyes. And then the antioxidants I was talking about, antioxidants, vitamin C and E. Those what they do is generally they protect uh, cells against oxidative stress. So tear glands are protected by these vitamins from any oxidative damage. We have, I think, the omega-3 fatty acids we're talking about. They, they improve tear quality too, and then they reduce inflammation. And one of the most important things too, I think we haven't talked about this at all, hydration, drinking
Yes,
water and fluids.
yes.
Hydration is very crucial for tear production and general health, whether it is the eyes or even your hair or whatever.
And skin.
Hydration is very important, especially in our area here that is very dry, harsh weather. A lot of dust and particles. So I think those are the things that should be considered. Antioxidants, the vitamins C's and E's, and then we have the vitamin A, which we've talked about extensively. Then
Okay, can you
we
just
have
tell us three foods we can find them? Like one food for vitamin C, one for vitamin E, and one antioxidant. So people just know when we're talking about dry eye, they should just eat so to reduce the.
so for vitamin A, we talked about carrots, pumpkin, sweet potatoes. That is why we said they are superheroes. So then vitamin C and E, the antioxidants, you can find them in oranges, and then the leafy greens. I was talking about lettuce,
Yes.
spinach, and so on.
Okay, so now
And
let's go
then
to
what's the other one?
diabetic retinopathy. I think that would do. With diabetic
All right. So,
retinopathy, what would you advise patients to eat?
well, the goals for diabetic retinopathy should be along the line of keeping blood sugar levels stable, which is the most important.
Yes.
Then protection of the blood vessels inside the eyes, which will lead to the longevity of those blood vessels, and then reduction of inflammation and oxidative stress. So it all goes
So
back down to
antioxidants too.
antioxidants.
Yes.
Exactly. And then low glycemic index foods with high fiber, especially the carbs. So whole grains, just like diabetics are always advised,
Exactly, to
eat
eat.
whole grains.
Yes.
Exactly, oats, guinea corn, and so on,
So if
and
you
then
have
legumes that
diabetic
are green.
retinopathy and you're listening to us, eat your whole grains religiously
That's
and
very
then
important, but to be cautious too, because just because millet is good for one diabetic doesn't mean
it's good
it's
for
good, the
everyone.
best for.
So
It's good.
know
It is
what
good, but
triggers your
exactly.
sugar
Yes,
levels.
and seek professional advice too, because
Yes.
at least every individual should consider himself special. So have your the system, I mean, foods and everything tailored to your specific condition. Don't just do because it is done by somebody else.
Yeah. Very
So
important,
that,
very key. Okay, now
so
let's
keep the
talk
blood.
to those that have hypertensive retinopathy. What should they
Well,
try to eat more of?
along along the same line, it's all about controlling blood pressure and supporting healthy blood vessels, and then protecting retina from any damage. So similar to, but a little different from diabetic retinopathy. The foods they should, I think, concentrate on should be uh, omega-3 fatty acids, as stated before. See, you see, the very interesting thing about
Is
nutrition is
that is a cycle, right?
it keeps coming around.
Merry
Exactly,
go round.
it
We go
keeps
round
coming
and
around.
round and round again.
Yes. So that
Yeah.
is why if you get the basics, if you tailor the foods, they cover a lot. When you put a little bit of everything, you cover a lot of conditions, whether you have them or not. It serves as control, prevention, and cure in some cases too. So omega-3 fatty acids, and then I think potassium to balance the effects of sodium. Because sodium is the culprit usually in
Hypertension.
increasing blood pressure.
Yes.
Exactly. So potassium helps balance the effect of sodium and it lowers blood pressure. Where you find the potassium, of course, in bananas, and then our superheroes, sweet potatoes.
Carrots.
They are coming around
Yeah.
here, and then
Again.
tomatoes, spinach, and so on, leafy greens, and then what else? To the hypertension, I think magnesium, because of its effect in relaxing blood vessels and lowering blood pressure. And those two are found in leafy greens, soybeans, and legumes. And then
Okay.
the vitamin C and E antioxidants we talked about, which protects the vessels from oxidative damage, as I said before. found in citrus fruits, oranges, guava, even some leafy greens. So leafy greens, omega-3 fatty acids, they always keep coming around.
Yeah.
And then so garlic and ginger, they have, to a certain extent, some studies have natural blood pressure lowering anti-inflammatory properties, though such information should be used cautiously and uh, do your own research most of the time and seek
Exactly.
professional,
And stick to your
because these
doctor's
are
advice.
exactly because these conditions are not a joke. You know, they are
They're actually life
life-threatening,
threatening, yeah.
and they can severely affect quality of life. So take them seriously, and you know,
And eat your fruits and vegetables.
it's
So
very
let's
important.
say someone wants to start small. What are three easy food swaps or habits they can start right now to protect their eyes? I'm talking about the regular average individual.
Yeah, somebody like me, I can even tell myself, go and now swap sugary drinks for water.
Yes,
And
so hot
this is something
soda
I can even tell
replaced
as
with water.
I think I am a culprit there, but this is one of the very important things in our society now.
And when you say
Especially in
sugary
this
drinks, we're talking about Coke, Sprite, all your
soda,
fruit
sugary
juices,
juices,
packaged
uh,
juices, everything.
anything that has a high level quantity of sugar, written or unwritten, hidden or in plain sight, because all these things are silent to us. Well, either we don't do our research or we don't bother to read or they hide it. But you know, sugary juices, not just because they say this is fruit juice in a box that you just assume it's
They
healthy.
even label some sugar free while they are filled with sugar
Exactly. Well, sugar free. What is there in place of sugar? You should ask.
to sweeten.
Because
Exactly.
exactly. Or they say no added sugar. No added sugar. It means there are natural sugars there. So you have to be proactive. And the best drink is water, irreplaceable. So one of the
Absolutely.
most important thing is you swap those sugary drinks for water, or even tea, herbal teas, and we have teas all over the place. It's much better than drinking all those sugary drinks. And then something you can do is add more leafy greens and those superhero foods we are talking about. They are very accessible. Add more of them to your meals. For example, you can always add grated carrot to any salad or soup or stew. You
Okay. So
can
what are we
incorporate
swapping?
leafy greens.
Remember, we're swapping foods, swapping soda and sugary drinks for water.
This is more of addition, not
Okay.
swapping, because when it comes to proper food, well, what can you swap really? You need your carbs, but what you need is to enhance that food. But when you're talking about switching, you can switch from fried foods, for example, to maybe something that is grilled or steamed. That is something you can swap.
Okay.
So instead of fried foods, maybe if you are eating even the omega-3 rich fish we are talking about, so instead of frying it, you can grill it or steam, the
Yes,
fish.
since it's a healthier option.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
What of
But for
rice
usually for food,
or white bread?
now that one you can be switched to the whole grains that we were talking about, whole grain bread and so on. But for a healthy individual, that can be a difficult switch because uh, first of all, we have a
Exactly.
notion that the bread is healthy, which technically isn't really, but the taste or the quality you are giving up, and then bread has become something else nowadays. And whole grains don't keep as long as the processed flour bread that we eat. So, considering the environment we are in, uh, switching, if you can afford to switch, of course, whole grains are always better than processed foods.
Okay.
But one of the important things is you add more carrots, leafy greens, all the superhero foods that we talked about,
To
incorporate them
whatever you're
into the
eating.
diet. And then exactly whatever is unhealthy, so any fatty foods, high sodium foods, sugary foods, highly processed ones, try to minimize them as much as possible. Then you switch them with the healthy alternatives we've been talking
I also love to remind my patients that hydration is very, very, very important. Sometimes with dry
about. That
eyes,
cannot
all you
be
need is to
avoided.
hydrate more.
Exactly, with a lot of things, even good sleep sometimes. Come on, as silly as that may sound.
Yes.
To sleep well, you might need more, or to drink more water.
So
Headaches,
hydration, rest, and
all the
even
common.
managing screen time all go hand in hand with nutrition, right?
Very, very much because of I think something we didn't speak about, the blue light that is all over the place now, exposure. So we really need to take care of our eyes nowadays.
Okay. So now let's get more realistic. Not everyone has access to fancy superfoods. So what are practical low cost ways to eat for healthy eyes from the African perspective, the Nigerian point of view? So what would you say? Somewhere along the line you
Um,
talked about egusi
exactly. Well,
and
we've been
spinach.
all the foods we've been talking about. I think it's something we can consider as
Low cost.
accessible food, because in our training as public health practitioners, it has always been emphasized that whenever you are advising or you are educating, you have to take into consideration the socioeconomic uh, condition of who you are talking to. Uh, Make sure what you are telling him is something that he can afford to incorporate, not something he will hear as fiction and just move on. You
Strange.
can come and
Yeah.
start telling somebody to go and buy salmon, or go and
Tuna.
get whatever. Exactly. You have to tailor it to. So I think I try to do that in the foods I've been talking about. So uh, whenever you're trying to incorporate any of those vitamins we've been talking about, there's always an accessible uh, food that comes with laden with such vitamins. For example, that just like we said, vitamin E, ugu, carrots, red palm oil, sweet. But these are things that are all around us.
All over the
Egusi,
place. Yeah.
exactly.
Sweet potatoes are
For,
relatively cheap too.
exactly. And then for lutein and azias and things, they sound like they are
Complex and
out of this
expensive.
world. But common ugu, bitter leaf, you know, water leaf, all those things, egg yolk, corn, you find them inside. Vitamin C, it's all over. Oranges, we've always been hearing of vitamin C. Oranges, guava is always also very rich in vitamin C. The garden eggs that people are pushing in wheelbarrows around.
Yes.
The tangerine, the bell peppers, especially the green pepper.
Okay.
And
So
then vitamin E, we have groundnuts, palm oil, egusi. So I've tried to limit those examples to foods that are easily accessible in our community. And
community. Yeah.
exactly.
That's the whole point. So how can we make smart food choices when we're eating out at restaurants on a date night or at our favorite shawarma spot? You know, it's difficult to get healthy at those places.
Is you're not talking about the posh people going out to. Well, of course, we always feel pressure when we go to such places. Because first of all, those foods are shoved in our faces. Like, yes, this is grilled. This is whatever. So first of all, always try to uh, either limit or at least get smaller portions of foods that you consider not healthy. But since maybe it's going out, you might want to indulge yourself a little. Try to minimize the portion. Don't just get as much as you can and fill your stomach and start moving.
Okay.
Get as little as possible, and then there are always smart choices. Go for the salad instead of the deep fried food, or maybe join them together.
So a
I don't know
little
if
bit of both.
if I get what I'm saying.
Yes, I
Exactly.
do.
Instead of going for the grilled chicken, why not go for the chicken salad?
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not used to.
We
I'm not
get
used to
the
eating out,
gist generally.
so I
Just
don't know the name of
minimize
all the.
portion basically, and then if you can get your side of vegetables, a sprinkle of vegetable or a fruit smoothie to go with your fries or something,
Yes, well, you sound like you go
just to
out to
be
eat.
smart about it. No, I don't. But that takes us to the next question. Vitamin A deficiency. Vitamin A deficiency is still a big issue in so many communities in Africa. Can you tell us how it affects the eyes and how we can help people in underserved areas?
For the effects of the deficiency, just like I said before, it's very good for night vision. So night blindness will follow you. The moment you see uh, night blindness, you know where it is. Whenever there's low light and a person struggles to see, it means that is a very good uh,
Sign.
or sign, exactly sign of vitamin A deficiency. And then there's corneal ulcers. So I think also it's corneal ulcers, and because it generally weakened immunity, because
Yes,
it increases the risk of infections,
exactly.
not
That's what I
only
was
in the eyes,
looking for.
generally. Exactly. So the weakened immunity will lead to all those things I was trying to list. So there's even no point. Weakened immunity
And how do
in
we
the body
help
generally.
people
So
get vitamin A in this hard to reach communities?
exactly. Uh, uh, First of all, education is very important. You educate caregivers, mothers, uh, fathers, I mean, people, the community leaders, education, because in public health, that is technically
Goes a long
our
way.
major. Exactly, you have to let people know that uh, there are, I mean, they should be aware of these deficiencies, the simple symptoms and effects, and then maybe you teach them in a simple ways to prepare vitamin A rich foods for anyone in the community using those easy to get ingredients that we've been
Like
talking
palm
about.
oil, like carrots, like sweet potatoes, ugu, water leaf,
Exactly.
bitter leaf that they can all get in most areas.
Exactly. And then which leads me to my second point, which is have to promote those local and affordable vitamin A rich foods. Let them know that this is where the vitamin A, or
Juice
where
is.
the solution lies. All this palm oil that we are having here, we are exporting, eat it, whether it is cooked or lightly cooked. If you burn it, that's another thing. But
Mm,
sometimes we tend to burn, overcook it, but
which
lightly
is
cooked or
wrong.
uncooked.
Yeah.
Yes, and these, just like you said, the carrots and livers, the egg, dairy, fortified foods, which is another point. Fortification is very important, and I think there's a mandate from the government, not mandate. It has been implemented since that vitamin E. I think you can't even sell sugar in Nigeria without vitamin E fortification.
Fortifying. Yeah.
If I'm if I'm right, but there's a lot of fortification in either some oils or foods that are generally used by a lot of people in the community. And then we have supplementation programs by different kinds of NGOs. Sometimes they come out, they come with programs that provide supplements to different communities that uh, are deemed to have this kind of deficiencies. For example, I think there's a WHO recommendation of vitamin E supplements. I think for children aged between 6 to 59 months in high risk areas. So there's a recommendation that they should be given high dose of vitamin A supplements.
Yes, I think it's
So every
incorporated
6 months.
into the Nigerian vaccination program. At six
Exactly.
months, your baby should get
Exactly.
vitamin
You
A
have
supplementation.
to give, and then they are you can train people and just like health workers in the community. You have community health workers to know how to spot early signs of these
Vitamin A
vitamin A deficiency,
deficiencies and
and
refer
then
immediately.
exactly they counsel, and either some of them can take care of it if it is not very uh, severe. I mean, if the symptoms have not kicked in into high gear, they can counsel families on dieting and supplementation.
Mm,
But when they see the level is too high, they can quickly now refer. So these are, I think, a few ways you can. There are even things that something maybe you can even start a community, or school. For example, schools are a very good place to do this, and these are things I have in mind for this environment. Uh, we can start something like a garden project, where we grow all these kind of things. They are not difficult to grow. Grow leafy greens, sweet potatoes, all kinds of fruits and so on in schools, where either you incorporate it into the diet of the children, or maybe you even sell it in a school
yes.
market, garden market.
Mm,
These are things that we have a lot of students and a lot of schools with a lot of land where
that
only
are just
soccer is
wasting
playing. You run
away.
around playing football. Exactly. But these are all small, small things that the children get trained, educated, and then we even have produce to now either consume or sell. I think those
Okay.
are ways that underserved communities can be I think helped.
Okay, so should people change their lifestyle, or is it just about changing one meal or taking one magic supplement? Generally.
There's nothing like the reality is health overall, not only high health. It's not about a single meal or a magic supplement or a one-time fix. So it has to be a comprehensive approach. I mean, it's a lifestyle change.
Change
You know,
completely.
eating one healthy meal or taking one supplement, it may be quicker. It will provide a quick benefit, but long-term health or high health or whatever health relies on. There has to be a consistency, balanced, consistent, balanced nutrition. I think balanced nutrition is even used now. We have to say adequate uh, diet or adequate nutrition.
Okay,
So there's
so
no single food that can magically protect your eyes. And then, since we're talking about lifestyle, we have to talk about exercise. So regular physical activity, no
sedentary
sedentary
life.
lifestyle. People might even wonder, we're talking about eyes, and you're telling us how do we? It's not just about the eyes. Uh, Eyes depend on blood circulation too, right?
Exactly, and eyes have blood vessels too. So
Exactly. So the health of your blood vessels, if you have hypertension due to lack of good lifestyle and exercise, your eyes are going to suffer. If you have diabetes due to
same thing.
bad lifestyle and lack of exercise, your eyes will suffer. And then something that has become very difficult nowadays, good quality sleep. Uh, Good quality sleep. I don't think we've talked about this one at all. You have to,
Rest for
allow
the
yourself to rest.
recommended number of hours.
We are talking about dry eyes. Uh, Poor sleep can lead to dry eyes, and
Absolutely.
because good sleep promotes tear production. I think, if I'm not right, you are the optometrist. And then hydration, just like we said, you have to drink enough water daily.
So basically,
So
lifestyle change is what everyone needs to maintain good eye health.
exactly, it's not about.
You
Of course,
change what
eating the
you
right food,
eat,
take care of food,
exercise well,
you have
and you sleep well.
and then have regular checkups to visit your optometrist
That can't be
when the
overemphasized. You get your
I
eyes
don't know. I
checked
don't
at
know
least once a year.
how you let me be the one to say that, but to visit your optometrist,
I was going to
very
bring it
important.
up later
Regular
on.
exams. And, it is one very bad habit that we have. We only go to the eye doctor when we have a problem in the eye, and there are certain conditions. I'm sure in your other podcasts, I'm sure you cover them, but there are certain conditions that don't come around until it's too late.
Yeah.
You not know them; they are there until it's too
And that's
late.
why it's important to
Mm,
get your eyes checked regularly. So
exactly.
this takes us to our Would You Rather segment, where things get a little fun and a little tricky. So tell me, would you rather have a perfect 20/20 vision but never be allowed to rock a pair of sunglasses, or be able to wear all the shades you want anytime but have slightly imperfect vision?
That is a very simple answer. I'm still having uh, anxiety because I lost my one pair of my sunglasses.
Oh,
I think yesterday.
so
So,
you're going
and I'm
for
still looking. I'm not looking for it. I'd rather have a little imperfection, but be able to wear my
rock your
sunglasses.
shades. Okay, so now to
Yes.
wrap it up, if you had to eat just one fruit or vegetable for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
I,
Listeners, you can play along too and tag
well,
us with your pick on our social media pages.
is it based on personal preference or health wise, or
We don't really care now. It's just a random question. Just one fruit or one vegetable that you would eat for the rest of your life if you had to.
I think I'd choose a pear.
Pear?
I don't get tired of eating pears, so
That's
I
kind of rare. Okay, so thank you so
but not
much.
avocado. Not avocado.
The green pear, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that I don't get tired of.
Okay.
So I think I would choose that.
Okay, so this is a special appreciation message for my special guest today. Thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. Your insights were rich, practical, and honestly eye opening. You've added so much value to this conversation. And for those of you listening who don't already know, today's guest is also my husband. Yes, I'm beyond blessed to have him, not just on this episode, but in my life. He's the calm to my storm, literally, the wind beneath my wings, and the one who cheers me on the behind the scenes of every project. Thank you, my love, for being my partner in every sense of the word. May Almighty Allah continue to reward and bless you beyond measure.
Man, I won't
If
have
you
it any
loved, it has been an absolutely nourishing conversation with Mr. Alhassan. Thank you for all the practical tips and the gems. And I want all the listeners to remember your eye health doesn't start at the clinic, it starts in the kitchen. And to all of you listening, remember your eyes are counting on you. Choose wisely, eat colorfully, and focus on those happy eyes. If you love this episode, share it. Share, and keep sharing with all the people you love. And subscribe so you never miss an eye opening moment. Until next time, keep your eyes happy, your fork full, and your vision clear. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and leave a review if you found it helpful. If you have any question or topic you'd like us to explore on the podcast, would love to hear from you. Please drop us a message at amaldambata@gmail.com or connect with us on Instagram at happyeyes_with Dr. Amal. Let's keep the conversation going and growing. Thank you for tuning into Happy Eyes Pod. Don't forget to follow, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who loves their eyes. Until next time, keep your vision clear and your eyes happy.